So last week we had the epic cliffhanger that somehow showed Pietro was back in the MCU, but he looked like the Fox X-Men Quicksilver Evan Peters. Yes, he does enjoy playing a dead boy, doesn't he? And oh boy, was this a superb episode, complete with a Malcolm in the Middle parody homage, classic comic outfit, as well as a tease that Hayward is up to something even worse than we expected. Now, have we all recovered? Well, let's break down this stunning episode and look into the Easter eggs and deep dives into just what the heck is going on in Wandavision episode 6. We go straight into the intro, which is an awesome homage to Malcolm in the Middle, complete with the video filters and text. And while I expected this to be a 90s episode, this show didn't actually air until the 2000s. However, it gets weirder as we did see The Parent Trap on at the cinema, the Lindsay Lohan epic that came out in 1998, and The Incredibles that came out in 2004. So it seems they've merged the 90s and the noughties here, and I like the reference too, as The Parent Trap was about twins at odds, and The Incredibles is about a super-powered family with also super-powered kids discovering their powers, much like Billy and Tommy did in this episode. The lyrics hint at life being unfair and the world possibly being an illusion, which of course it is, and just to go along with it, complete with the intro of rock music and shots of the family, which is a classic late 90s, early 2000s trope. We even have the man-child cool uncle, which was so very of the time. One thing that is weird, however, was how everyone had their character names on screen, but Pietro Maximoff said Pietro Maximoff as himself. Now, that is interesting, as throughout the episode, we did have very weird hints that maybe this isn't Quicksilver himself, and it might be the subconscious of Wanda, it might be someone else controlling her. And it is weird that we haven't seen Dottie and him in the same room. I mean, the MCU just don't do things for no reason, or at least they pick up on them later down the line. Now, the episode opens with Billy and Tommy talking to the camera, just like Malcolm in the Middle, and it's the usual Halloween episode. Billy is wearing his costume, which is just like his comic book counterpart, and Tommy doesn't have one as well. He's the cool twin, but later he does get one which matches his uncle. That is indeed the original Quicksilver costume from the comics. Tommy also in the comics had an homage outfit too, but it was green in the comics there. We even had the cutaway gags showing the kids play Dance Dance Revolution, which, boy, that game absolutely slaps, as they wake up Pietro, played by Evan Peters, as he is the absolute best as the cool uncle, showing his skills and scaring the kids as Wanda comes down wearing her Halloween costume, which is her classic comics outfit. And the joke that said that, is she old Red Riding Hood? That cracked me up. But she says she's a Sokovian fortune teller, a hint possibly to one of her comic book origins being born of a gypsy family, or the new origin where she was born of a witch. I absolutely love the cutaway gag showing them trick-or-treating in Sokovia back in the day and getting typhus. However, Wanda does not remember it like that, and it seems Pietro does have some false memories. Pietro says how she probably suppressed the trauma, but it's evident that perhaps one of them is getting things wrong, as later in the episode he remembers being shot, but he has the wrong face. The kids have picked up how their mother has been acting weird with their father, as Vision comes down in his classic Vision outfit as Pietro roasts him, which is hilarious. There are hints that Vision is onto what Wanda is doing, as there is only one costume in his closet, and he says he's off to the neighborhood watch, and Wanda hints that this isn't what he's supposed to do, as he's breaking the script she has set out for him. One thing is weird is how Tommy is talking to the camera as Pietro looks at him, an early sign that our Quicksilver knows that this is all very, very fake, as our cool uncle steps in to take the kids trick-or-treating, which was the absolute highlight of the whole episode. Now, we then cut to Sword and the aftermath of last episode's showdown with Wanda, and I loved Darcy roasting him and the Agents of Sword trio, which I wish would be a real standalone show, as Monica does stand up to Hayward. She says he's got no idea what would happen if the hex disappears or Wanda dies. Hayward has had enough of her, and he doesn't like that she's constantly backing up super-powered individuals. But you can tell the last 5 years have had an impact on him, and he uses that against Monica and really does drop the Captain Marvel name, and also drops the fact that her mother died, and maybe that was a good thing that she wasn't there. Just, he is the worst. He seems to distrust super-powered people and moving more into robotics and AI. Could this be an origin of the Sentinel program in response to the Hex waking a dormant X gene? Hey, the Hex gene, anyone there? Yes, that would be really, really weird if that did happen. It's clear he is up to something, as he was tracking Vision, and I do think that he is using Vision to create a super-powered killer. And, well, he kicks the trio off the base, but you know, this three, they won't take it lying down, as Jimmy Woo goes kick-ass. A charming man with badass fighting skills. Tell me why he isn't a leading man, guys. Come on. The trio plan to break into the Hex, but the kids are trick-or-treating, as Pietro says, unleash hell, demon spawn. Wait, what? The kids in the comics are actually born of Mephisto's soul fragments. More of a hint to demons and the devil, which could be a very curious Easter egg. Wanda asked Pietro about a kid in their orphanage after their parents died who kept trying to steal his boots, who had like a skin thing. Could this be a hint to Toad, who was with them in the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and the orphanage being Strucker's castle? I mean, Toad did have a skin thing? Yes, I'm probably reaching, but I do like to create some outlandish theories sometimes. Now, Wanda asks why he looks different, but later in the episode they have a heart-to-heart, and he asks her how she did all this and where she kept all the kids. He seems to be very impressed about how she kept it all ethical. He likes how she made a huge jump from her normal powers to this dream world. Keyword here, giving people nightmares, as Nightmare is a lead theory to be the person behind all of this. She has no idea how she did it, except just feeling grief and being all alone. I like the idea I said the other day in a video, how Nightmare could have come to her in her dreams and sort of incepted her brain, as we see Dead Boy Quicksilver. It seems when she questions what is going on, she sees the dead, just like with Vision the other episode, but we know she stole his body, so I wonder if she actually stole Pietro's body as well, but no, I don't think she did. Now, I loved Pietro helping the kids whiz through the neighborhood, stealing all the candy, as he says, the need for speed, a line from the absolute epic Top Gun, as he grips Tommy's hand. Speed, of course, being Tommy's comic book name. Now, I found it funny seeing Herb hear on his radio that, well, all of the candy has been taken, as we see that, but he drops the clanger that Vision isn't on duty, and Herb seems to want to really make Wanda happy, asking if she wants something changed. It seems he has a self-awareness just like Agnes has, especially as the pair were actually together when they were about to spill the beans to Vision, when he sort of realized what was going on. Now, we then see Vision walking around town. as the town seems to break the further out he gets, with some people stuck on loop or just standing there doing nothing. He wanders some more and finds Agnes, who got lost, and he seems confused, and I think some part of her was trying to escape, even though she said that Wanda doesn't let them even think about trying to escape. Now, the creepy part starts when Vision wakes her up, and she says he's an Avenger, his name, and asks if he's here to save her. But then she says he's dead, and he has no memory whatsoever. I wonder if his memory was actually kept possibly in the Mind Stone, as Bruce said that without the stone, he would keep most of himself during that scene in Wakanda during Infinity War, so there might be something to that. This episode was the first time we didn't actually have the man and woman, and it wasn't so overt, but it's a typical claymation 90s advert for Yo Magic, a play on Go-Gurt, and hints that not even magic can save you from death. It's the snack for survivors, something the twins said they are, I believe, in one of their movies, and, well, that's very true. It also hints that someone is feeding off her magic, which reminds me of the show Legion, where the Shadow King fed off a powerful mutant. If you haven't seen that, really go and watch it. If you like Wandavision, you're going to like Legion. Now, one big reveal this episode is how Pietro kind of remembers being shot like a chump, which is a funny callback because his death was so very, very lame, being killed by a bullet, and then remembers her calling him. That's all he remembers. It seems he has the memories of the MCU Pietro with the Fox X-Men look. I don't think this is going to be a bait and switch, but simply magic and the multiverse blending two characters together as we then see Tommy get his powers. The Sword Trio then break into Hayward's service and realise that Hayward is tracking Vision. Now Darcy realises that there's even more under a further firewall and will meet them later. However, Monica's cells have changed due to the effect of the radiation, but she's eager to still go back into the Hex. It's clear this is giving her powers like her comic book counterpart, as she was changed due to extra-dimensional energy, similar to what's happened here. But she and Jimmy head off to meet her contact, which made the thing to get into the Hex. And I do think this might be Talos' daughter, which is heavily rumoured, the aerospace engineer, but I would prefer it to be Sue Storm or Reed Richards, but let me know in the comments who you want it to be. Now, while hacking, we see a few names, but the only one I could find really anything on was James Alexander, who did VFX for the show, although there was a cool hint with the words Project CF 113, 113 being Avengers 113, where Wanda and Vision kiss and then becoming hated for an android and a mutant having a relationship. Now we also get a look at just what the project that Hayward is working on, and it's called Cataract, which is pretty funny, as cataracts do, of course, blur your vision. Yeah, I can't help but think that's pretty funny there. And this is definitely the thing that Hayward wants to possibly to turn Vision in, as it said classified weapons intel. So I'm going to look into this a bit more and probably do a video tomorrow and add it into my episode 7 preview, but check that out on my channel. We then see Vision attempt to escape the Hex, but he decays and falls apart as he exits it, which is weird as the things that Monica left the Hex in became real, albeit changed. So I do wonder how that happens, except I did notice the Mind Stone was still on his head, which seems to me that she may have fabricated a new one, and this could be the one that breaks in the promo. Billy realises all of this as his powers awaken, and Pietro roasts them all by saying that, well, the dead dad can't die twice. As she blasts him, we see some headstones with Janelle Simmelman, I believe that's how you pronounce it, a reference to the first assistant director of the show, and a Dr. Rivers, which I am sure there is something there, but I couldn't find anything on just yet. In her anger, Wanda extends the barrier as Sword run and leave poor Cat, but the Sword base turns into a circus, which was absolutely hilarious. The episode ends with Jimmy and Monica out of the bubble, and I expect they'll meet her contact, but Darcy never got to see just what Hayward's real plan was. Man, I really hope that Darcy turns into a waitress who just happens to not have that much money, kind of broke, if you will. But next week we seem to be getting the Talking Head style show, much like The Office, mixed with Modern Family, and the origins of what happened could be here, as in the promos we saw her create the world and absolutely lose it. I do think that Vision was being made into a superhero killer here, a sort of Sentinel style weapon, and it's similar to the Vision Quest story where Vision was stolen and disassembled and turned into the white emotionless version, which that could be an adaptation here. I also think that this may be introducing mutants as Monica's cell change, and perhaps the X gene, like I said, is the Hex gene, yeah? Yeah, probably a long shot, but let me know what you think down below in the comments. Do check out my TikTok as well. I'm doing more Easter eggs videos on TikTok as well. That's at Superhero Nexus. Same on Twitter. And do also like and subscribe if you want more from us. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.